Welcome to this Spockholm training video. In this one, I'm going to cover the Spockholm toolbar that's soon to be released, and it'll release in conjunction with the 100th episode of the Informant podcast. To install the toolbar, there'll be a link provided on the Spockholm website when that's available. In order to run it in Firefox, you will have to have Grease Monkey installed, and in order to run it in Chrome, you'll just be able to paste the URL or follow the URL, and then it'll ask you whether or not you want to install the toolbar or not. In this particular screenshot, you can actually see that I do in fact actually have the toolbar actually loaded. And if I refresh Facebook, for example, let me just bounce back to my main Facebook page here. And if I go to Mafia Wars, you will now see the toolbar will automatically load each time I move around within Mafia Wars. There's some neat features, as you just quickly saw there. When the toolbar loads, it'll actually close the ZMC so that you don't have to deal with it right away, and you can deal with it when you're ready. There's from the left to the right of the toolbar, I'll walk through what's available here, and then I'll go into more detail on each individual one. But to the left-hand side here, we have just a link that takes you to the Facebook fan page. We encourage everybody to become fans. To the right of that is the Spocklets drop-down. In there are the initial set of Spocklets that have been actually loaded within the toolbar. Over time, this list will include all the Spocklets that are available on the Spockholm website. But for now, this is just a little sampling. If you want to add your own, I'll show you here in just a few minutes on how you do that. This box here is actually a search feature. So if I start typing family, it will actually search the available Spocklets and provide a link to actually launch an individual Spocklet. So for example, if I wanted to launch the family manager, I could actually click it here and it would actually go ahead and open up the family manager on my screen, and I can quickly close it. If you've noticed immediately, the beauty of the toolbar is the fact that it loads within the framed environment. There are some cases when the scrolling in Facebook and the scrolling within the Mafia Wars window do actually cause some conflicts with some of the Spocklets. Over time, we'll try to address as many of those as possible. However, in the interim, if that ends up occurring, then I would always encourage you to have a copy of Unframed Mafia Wars bookmarklet or Spocklet available to you so that you can easily unframe the game for those specific types of Spocklets that are causing those kinds of issues. And I'll show you here just a moment too that actually if you follow the Unframed Mafia Wars Spocklet from a traditional Spocklet location in your toolbar, you can actually have the toolbar available unframed as well. So the Spocklet or the toolbar actually works both ways. It works in a framed game environment and an unframed game environment. Now, me personally, for the most part, I actually prefer the unframed Mafia War version. So I'm actually going to follow that at this point, and I'm going to actually show you that as the game loads unframed now, it will actually go in, close the ZMC, and close the top header. I prefer this because it gives me more real estate, and I prefer the background to the white background of Facebook. That's just my personal preference. But it also gives a little bit more real estate, or at least I feel it does, when we use things like the checklist. And then across the top, your experience ratios. So as you're playing the game, it's actually keeping track of the experience you need. So as you can see across the top here is your experience needed. It's the ratio of your energy to your experience needed to level, and then your stamina to experience needed to level, and then a combined value. So here you're actually getting an idea of what it would take, combination of all the experience and energy that you currently have, energy and stamina you currently have in order to level. And then I'll get into the config in just a moment. The other neat feature of the toolbar is its ability, when you go to a jobs tab, it will actually now show you the percentage that job is energy to experience. It'll show you how much experience you'll gain if this is the sole job you do, and it'll tell you how much experience you're going to have left over after you've expended all the energy you currently have. as well as the combination of the number of times you'll actually be able to do this job. So a lot of what people were doing in the past with spreadsheets and calculators and everything else, we've tried to make available in the game. Also, similarly, we've gone ahead and included a easy identifiable um, color change to the job that's going to get you the most experience. So this one in particular on Rio de Janeiro Centro, you would go ahead and get 1.59% energy to uh, experience ratio, and that's the highest one on this particular page. And it's obviously color coded in green to give that as a quick indicator, as well as the green color coding on the actual ratio. So that's a happens on all the screens within the Mafia Wars regarding jobs, and we'll give you those indicators as you progress through. Now, let's tackle a couple of little hidden gems that are inside the game or inside the Spocklet that happen that you don't necessarily pay attention to, but they're there and they provide some neat quick features for some people. There's two things that are inside the actual header of Mafia Wars that you don't know actually work with the toolbar until I tell you. For example, if I mouse over the graphic for the reel in this particular case, and I click on it, this is an experimental feature when we're working out the bugs, but if you click on it, it should end up banking your money for you. So it's called one-click banking. The other one is if I click on the health icon, as you can see, it has a little hand indicator, then I could actually click on it. It'll change color slightly, and if I heal successfully, it'll flash and then bounce back again. So those that are fighters and whatever else that have the toolbar installed, it's a quick way to get yourself healed back up again. So as you can see, it's only available on those two particular graphics. Obviously, the energy and the stamina do not have the same features. So those are two little Easter eggs, if you like to call them that. So then, now I'll tackle the big thing that's in the toolbar itself is called the configuration. In the configuration, you have an option to turn on or off the one-click banking and healing. And as you can see, the banking is experimental. It also has a load up of all the standard Spocklets that are currently loaded into the toolbar. Right now, like I said, it's just a few of the more common, more popular ones. Over time, it'll be everything. And then the other is you have the option to add your own Spocklets or your own bookmarklets from other people other than just Spockholm. And so as you can see in the list here, there's checklist, server, and checklist. And these were done for testing purposes. And now, if I wanted to add my own Spocklet, there's two ways to do it. I can import a Spocklet from code. And so I'm going to actually show you this because I actually have some code saved. And the code is a hash code that you may have seen when you've been working with our checklist, that you can create items of your own and share them with other people. And so when I click OK, we should see another checklist item appear below the other one because all I did was use the export feature on my checklist item to create another. And over time, that will continue to grow. And just like with the toolbar, pardon me, the checklist, we will have a fan library available of things that are not standard Spockholm bookmarklets and Spocklets, but other ones that are out there that people feel, are beneficial in the game and then can take advantage of the actual Spocklet toolbar. Another option, if you don't have the code, is you can actually add a new Spocklet by putting in a name. And so I'll go smart Spocklet. And if I click OK, the next option it asks me for is to provide the URL to the actual JavaScript file that is the Spocklet. And a lot of times when we share very small Spocklets that we have, like Mission Click or Brazil Crew, or some of the other ones that are just, one-offs, they don't happen very often, we don't create a whole brand new thing on the Spockholm website for that. You would actually just paste it in here, and then you can create your own Spocklet. So those are kind of the key features. Obviously, there's a delete feature. So if you've added one and you don't want it there, you can delete it using the X. The button here, as I said, was an export the item. So if you've got one that you've added in there, but then you wanted to share it with people, you can actually export it and it'll give you the code that you need to use in order to share it with other people and or post it to your actual wall. So this code here is the code that you would want to share with people, but obviously you have an option to post it to your wall and share it that way too. And then finally, there's an option to say export the item to the fan page. And then that gives you an option to add it to the fan page, and then people can get to it from there. And really, that's it for the first iteration of the Spockholm toolbar. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff. I talk really fast, so I apologize for that. But I did want to get something out so that people would have some understanding of what the toolbar is, how it works, and really some of the key uh, subtle nuances to the actual toolbar. And then, of course, just like anything else, in all of our Spocklets, we have a link to our donate button. We do not require you to donate. There is no commitment to do it. We do this, because we enjoy the game and we enjoy working with the fans. That's enough of that. Enough sales pitching for the day. Want to wish everybody the best. Hope you enjoy the toolbar when it releases. And Spock on.